Hello everyone, it's me Hattie and I'm back for another speed build. Today I'm going to show you what I built in Windenburg, the new Get Together expansion pack. I was so incredibly happy to be able to play this today. I didn't think that I would be able to play it today. I thought I'd have to wait till tomorrow or potentially the next day, but I was lucky enough to be able to play it today, so I'm extremely happy and I wanted to share my creation with you. So what I decided to create was a family home. I didn't want to go for a Tudor style build. I thought that a Tudor style build would be a little bit too obvious for me, so I wanted to really stick with something that was very new and different to what's in Windenburg already. And what I didn't actually find in Windenburg was a house that was like half Tudor, half modern, half anything. This is like a hybrid house and I'm extremely happy with this creation. I was not expecting this for my first build because first builds are always the trickiest, especially when there's new items out and stuff. I had the same problem with Get to Work. I had no idea what to do when all those items came out. I was just mind blown. I was like, oh my goodness, like what do I do? How do I start? And it's the same with Get Together, and it's going to take me a while to get into the swing of things and create something that is going to be a bit more advanced, but I'm hoping to be able to do that at some point. I'm going to have quite a long time practicing in the week, so yes, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to properly sitting down after the excitement's calmed down a bit because I was very excited today, and I will be able to appreciate the game for what it is, and that should be pretty fun. So at this point I was going around and I was getting a shape for the build, which is of course the most important thing because I don't want it looking like a square. So that's what I was doing. I was putting some roofs in, I was really shaping things, and I used so many roofs for this build. In fact, I was speaking to my sis the other day and she was like, you use so many roofs on your build, and I was like, yeah, I know, I can't help it. I don't know what it is. I have a huge love for roofs and that's what I was trying to do. So I was trying to put as many in as possible, and I was trying to get out my favourite items of the expansion pack as well. So I was choosing my favourite windows at this point. This was the first time that I actually looked at what was available, so that was quite nice, and I was able to do that. So I was quite happy with that, and I was thinking about what I'd use, what I wouldn't use, and I was trying to work out how big the windows would be, how much space they'd take up. So it was actually quite difficult because they're completely new, and usually if I was building a house I would just go straight onto the game and I would say to myself, okay, that window takes up 2 wall spaces, that takes up 3. And it's so difficult to do with the new expansion pack because I was like, oh, I don't know anything, I'm going to have to start from scratch. And it was difficult. I think the build itself took me probably about 3 hours, which is a very long time for the exterior. For me now, I usually spend about an hour and a half. So it took me the, well, double amount of time to build because I was really enjoying it. I was enjoying every single aspect of the building. I was thinking about everything that I could potentially use in the future as well. So I was having so much fun. And my hands were shaking like crazy as well because I was like, oh, I just want to get it finished so I can put it up and play the game as well, because I haven't actually had a chance to play the game. As soon as I got on, I was just straight into building. I just didn't even think about playing the actual game, and I'm really looking forward to doing that because I am going to put out some let's plays of me playing the game, which is a bit unusual for me, but no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to get it up. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of days, hopefully. I don't know, but I've got my own little twist on things. So I've created about 30 different sim characters, which I'm going to be showing in that. It's going to be crazy. I don't know how it's going to turn out. It's probably going to be terrible because it's probably going to have too much going on, but I don't know. I'm going to have fun and see how that goes. But at this point I was putting in some pillars and I was putting in the roof trim. I couldn't decide what roof trim I wanted to go for, so I ended up having 2, and I had a grey colour and a brown colour, but then I decided that the grey colour wasn't looking that great, so I took it off because I just didn't really think that it would look this great on this build. I thought that it would get drowned out, especially with when I coloured in the roof. I just thought, no, it was just spur of the moment. So originally it was that colour, and then I changed it back to the original brown that I had. So you'll see it darker in a little bit. It does change back, so look out for that one because that's going to creep up on us. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. And I noticed we've got some new third floors that are fake, which I think is crazy. I think that's amazing though. So we've got these new little things that will act as a third floor, which actually aren't third floors, and they look amazing. But I didn't get around to using those in this build, but I am going to experiment with those in the next build that I'm going to be doing. The next build I'm going to be doing is probably going to be a more Tudor styled house, but I have got other videos to catch up on as well. So if you're waiting for part 2 of my last video to come out, that is going to be coming up so soon. I just want to get the excitement out of this expansion pack just out of the way first, and then I can just go back to reality and just calm down for a second and put part 2 out. So that will be coming up, but at the moment I just want to be doing some exteriors and putting some Tudor builds up, because that's what's going to be coming up. So that should potentially be interesting. And at the front here, you'll see that I added a red brick colour and then I deleted it and put stone there instead. I do go back and put in the red brick again because I just could not get it out of my head. As soon as I put it in, I was like, I just can't stop thinking about that red brick colour. So I did actually have the building itself being in a bit of a red brick way, I suppose. I did go with red bricks in the end, that's all you need to know. And if you have, of course, seen the thumbnail, then you will know that it is a red brick house by the end. I was just experimenting, and this was the first time I saw anything, so it was all very new to me, and I was having quite a lot of trouble with that panelling as well, which I am going to tell you a little bit about, because I didn't realise at first how it was supposed to look. Honestly, I did not realise, and a lot of people were probably thinking, but you always build Tudor houses, you must know. No, I had literally no idea whilst I was building this. I had to look at photos online of Tudor houses to guide me, because I was like, I can't even remember how the Tudor roof or the Tudor wallpaper is supposed to look. I just don't know. But I honestly think that what I found online was amazing. I found so many beautiful Tudor houses or traditional styled homes from Germany, England, all over the world, Netherlands, because I know that the Netherlands has Tudor styled homes as well. Just pretty much anywhere that has this unique Tudor style build, because it's not just England that has these, it's all different countries over the world. If I talk about England a lot, it's only because I'm from there. That's the only reason, because I'm probably a little bit too patriotic, I don't know, but it was very interesting and it always inspires me to look at photos online, so that always helps me out, and I would of course recommend that to anyone if you are stuck for inspiration at any point. So at this point I was really experimenting with the different colours again at the front. I of course did go for the brick. I have mentioned that before, but wow, at this point I just couldn't decide, and I wanted to leave a little bit of this editing in because I thought that it would be helpful to some people if you have got the new expansion and you want to really see what the different colours look like with the different windows and stuff. So I did leave it in. Some of it I did cut out though, because it changed the whole build colour halfway through and then I changed it all back again. So it wasn't really helpful to have it in, even though it would have been nice. I just didn't think that it was necessary because it wasn't really part of the build. It didn't really stick with us for very long. So I thought it was best to leave it out and make the video a little bit shorter. So that's what I did. Nothing to do with the actual build, just to do with the colouring of it, because it's very difficult to pick colours when you're excited about absolutely every single new colour that is on the expansion pack, which of course I was. I was just really loving every single wallpaper, everything to do with this expansion, and it was very difficult to pick for this build. It's very difficult to pick for the first one because I don't know, like the first one always feels very indecisive for me. It did when we got the new cool kitchen pack, you know, it did when we got the new get to work expansion or outdoor retreat. It just depends, like game pack, stuff pack, expansion pack. It's all the same to me really. I mean, obviously it's not the same, but as in we get new stuff, so it just makes me more indecisive. So that's not good, but of course it is good at the same time because I got to experiment. So that's what this build was all about. And then I was checking the gallery photo. I did leave that on so you could see it there. I wanted to leave it because I think it's important for you to see that I do check it. And it won't look anything like that by the end, just so you know. I do a lot of things to the gallery photo to manipulate it and make it look nice in the way that it looks presentable on my gallery library. So you'll see that if you look at my creations, you'll see that my gallery photos are very much tampered with. I do my best to adjust the photos, get the lighting correct, all that kind of stuff that comes with it. So of course I was adding the ivy, which I could imagine that some people, those ivy lovers out there, are probably waiting for. Yes, I did use the ivy in this expansion. I was very happy with the ivy. I was so incredibly impressed by how it turns out. In fact, I already have a favourite ivy plant. I found this beautiful, beautiful flower that's like traipsing up the build. It just looks phenomenal. So I'm going to use that traipsing, I think it's like a rose plant or something, I don't know, but whatever it is, it's going to be a part of my builds in the future. I just really, really like it. So I was experimenting with the ivy, and I did add a lot more ivy to the builds after this point, especially at the end. I did go back and I added a little bit more, just kind of on the sides, just to give it a nice effect just for the end. So you'll see that on the photos at the end, because I'm going to put some screenshots of it at the end, as I do anyway, but that was just a thing that I decided to do at the end. So that happened, and of course the colour has changed again in the middle, and it's changing even now. Like, it's changing every couple of seconds or so, because I just was so incredibly indecisive. I just can't express enough, and if anyone's actually counting, I would love to know how many times I have changed it up until now. I find it quite amusing, but of course it's also irritating, because I was getting to the point where I actually had to take photos of the build, show people, and was like, what do you think? What do I need to do? Like, how do I make this look nice? So I was getting a lot of mixed opinions at this point, and this was the edit. So I did edit it. I changed the whole colour at this point, so you'll see it's completely changed. I changed it all to brick because I just spent so incredibly long. I didn't do anything other than that, really. I didn't do anything else to the build apart from just change the colour at the front. So it does look a little bit different, but as you can see, nothing's done around the back. So I did actually do the back windows last, which is very, very strange, and a lot of people will be thinking, why? But it was because I was so indecisive about the colour. I just couldn't decide. I had so many choices, and I just couldn't. So it was very difficult for me. So I decided to leave the windows till last, until I was completely decided, because what usually happens is, even if I think I've got a colour right, I'll go and put the back windows in, and then I will have to go back and change them all when I've changed my mind. So that's what I was doing. And then I was adding some more features, and oh my goodness, more changes, really? Just be sure, just be certain that it does change back to that brick colour. I have no idea what I was thinking at this point, but of course this was very important for me to leave in because you can actually see the painful process that I went through. So yeah, that happened. But I thought more brick, that's what I needed. I needed more brick on the outside to make it look really, really lovely, and make it look more like a brickwork red home. And I just thought it looked fantastic on evening mode. So I really did try and take advantage of that and have it on evening mode as much as possible. So I did landscape the whole property whilst on evening mode, or at least as far as I know, that's what I did. I think I did. So I put some big plants there, and I put some bushes in. I of course put those lovely pointy trees in. I wanted to light up the front area just to see how the window looked, so I did put the light in there so you can actually see how it's going to look when it's decorated. I just think that this window is so incredibly clear that you can just see through the back, and it's all grey and horrid, but when it's actually decorated, it should look pretty nice, because I'll have like a proper seating area there. So I think when it's all finished, it will look really nice through that window, because you can actually see the Sims through. Some of the windows in the Sims aren't actually that visible, so you can't see them very often, and they can be a little bit cloudy, but I think that one's very, very visible. So hopefully I'll get some good screenshots of Sims looking out the window, and it could be quite interesting. I don't know, sad faces out the window and all that, or a ghost. Oh, that would be quite creepy. I don't know, maybe I'll move a ghost into this house. I don't know, can we even do that? I've never actually seen a ghost in The Sims 4, only on The Sims 4 Get Together trailer, surprisingly, I think. I don't know. But anyway, I was putting in the red brick at the front because I thought that a red brick path would suit the red brick house. So that's what I did. And I also put a middle piece in, which I was actually really happy about, so that will stay in as well. I will probably tone it down a little bit, but I don't know. I'll probably change the size of it, but I'm not sure. So if it's a little bit smaller on the gallery after this speed build, and if it's a little bit tinier, not very much, but that's because it just didn't look good on the photo. So don't be upset. I do change around some minor things like after the video sometimes, so it's not a major change or anything, so that's what I was doing. I was also putting in a little fence way, a miniature garden at the front, because I knew at this point that there wouldn't be much garden area around the back, but there is a beautiful, beautiful countryside for the house, so the Sims can do so many things. They can go on walks, and yeah, they can go on walks. That's pretty much it for this area, but I just think it's nice. And of course, you can add things around the outside of the house if you wanted to. I didn't want to clutter up the garden too much because I didn't want to have it being really boxy, especially for a property in the countryside. I thought it would look a bit strange to have a very boxed in house with a private garden and stuff, because I don't think that a house like this would be very private, because what's the need? Like, there's no one there. So that's my thoughts on that anyway. And I was finishing off and I was putting in the bushes. I was having a lot of fun at this point, surprisingly. I was really feeling like this was my build now, because landscaping's when it starts to feel like mine. That's just the bit that I really enjoy. I don't know why, but I do. And of course, I was using the plant that I always use. And I did get some more of those swirly windows around the back. And I was putting some more ivy up there. I was really experimenting with mixing it as well. So my old ivy style, which probably a lot of you have seen by now if you've watched my other videos, I use the flower pots, and that was really what I used to use. But now I'm going to mix it with the new ivy plants that we get, which I think look fantastic. So you'll probably be seeing a lot more of those in my builds. If you like them, then let me know what you think, because I really enjoyed mixing them. That's what I liked doing for this build. So then I changed it back to evening mode, which I think looks particularly fantastic for this house. I just think it looks really, really beautiful in evening, and I just really love it. I like the panelling look. I don't know, I just like how the red brick just comes out. I don't know, I just love it. So that's what I was doing. I just thought at that point that that's what I'd spend a lot of my time doing, just adjusting the different stages of the day. So then, of course, I was experimenting with the roof a little bit, but then I decided to make it a little bit shorter on top so it wasn't so wide for the centerpiece. And then I found these beautiful, beautiful chimneys, and I was like, oh, I have to use them. They are amazing. And I didn't even realise we had these chimneys in the first place. In fact, if I'd have realised that we had all these new chimneys, I would have probably not even used the old chimney that I originally put in at the beginning. That one there, you can see it. I don't think it stays, but I can't actually remember. I don't know. I think I went with the stone one in the end, because I just thought it looked really, really beautiful. I'd definitely be surprised if I didn't. I think I did. But I just think it looks wonderful. So I'm definitely going to be using that stone chimney in future, and it really reminds me of Snow White's cottage. I don't know why, but I think she had a stone chimney like that. So then I was putting in the children's play area there, and that is the end of the build. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all for part 2. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.